I don't even have a script for this one. I'm kind of just doing it off the top, kind of just what I'm thinking about, the most kind of difficult aspect of rescue, and kind of just share my feedback on that. So, what's going on, everyone? JRez here, back with another episode of the Rescueality Podcast. Today, want to talk about, in my opinion and a lot of people's opinion, what's the most difficult aspect of rescue. What's one part that a lot of people have problems with, and what also a lot of people have trying to explain, even having difficulty right now trying to explain, is the emotional toll of rescue. And it's even gotten to the point where a while ago, last year sometime, there was a rescuer. She rescued foxes, and she just got so much torment and bullying online that she ended up taking her own life. And that was just from what she was receiving from people, on top of what was going on with the rescue. And unfortunately, that is not even all that uncommon in the rescue world. I have known a couple people personally who have, and it's difficult. There's no kind of avenue to ask for help regarding that kind of stuff, because a lot of us are already asking for help to help with the dogs, and we always put our animals first. And so that is the most difficult aspect for me personally. It goes into a lot of frustration. It dives into annoyance, annoying that this is going on, and then you have the dogs that just won't stop barking, and then you might have some medical stuff that just adds on top of that, and then you still having to plan out events, and then you're still having to try and raise money, and then you're still doing all the social media. And I'm not complaining, we all have to do this, but it is an emotional burden that is just absolutely insane. And I'm sure there's a lot of industries that have the same kind of difficulty with that, but this is one of the few industries where you actually have basically the other half of the rescue, which is the animals, that you can't exactly communicate with. I can't be like, hey, what's going on? Why is this? Are you hungry? Do you not like the food? Do you need this? Do you have a hurt stomach? You just have to learn what the signs are. You have to learn what caring for not just your whole rescue, but sometimes you have to learn about each and every single rescue that you have. This dog needs this cat needs this horse needs this. And then you have to remember all that. You have to write it down. And then, of course, in a state of not a lot of sleep, you could forget this and that. And I wish it was easier. So when a lot of people ask me, and I've talked to thousands at the very least, people are like, oh, you're living my dream. I want to do what you do. I want to start a rescue. And I did an episode on that before. I have to make an updated episode. Definitely the financial aspect, which I could do a bunch of episodes on. Physical aspect of cleaning up after all the dogs, going to get donations, feeding all the dogs, all the vet care, all that kind of stuff. Then the emotional aspect is difficult to talk to someone in person about, because they're there, especially in an event. An event is one of the most common places. I have I have all my pups there. I'm trying to adopt them out. I want them to go to the best homes that they possibly can, and it's a happy day. The rescues are getting adopted, and then I can't just go on a 10-20 minute long tangent about how this and that, and I'm burnt out, and I'm sad, and I'm angry, and I'm upset, and I'm exhausted. But rescue is totally awesome. It just doesn't come off that way when you explain that kind of stuff, which is the whole reason I started the podcast to talk to people about this kind of stuff, to explain to people, to give people a better idea. Because while social media is a good thing for rescue, it it allows us to promote all the good things with rescue. There's also the posting of the not so glamorous things that sometimes might make a rescue look not as prosperous or not as successful. An example, which I would say any established rescue that has been around for a little while has gone through, is fights among their rescue animals. I'm just gonna keep it with dogs for now, but most rescues, I would say all rescues, but I can't guarantee all rescues. So most rescues, the hundreds and hundreds of rescues I know, have all dealt with it. Sometimes you have little tiffles. Got to kind of clean up the nicks and the bruises, and then sometimes you have a little bit bigger ones where you might have to get a couple stitches. But on the rare chance that I would say most rescues don't talk about, nor would they ever talk about, because it is something that I'm sure most people would look down upon, is unfortunately there will be an instance where one dog doesn't like another dog, and only one of them makes it out. And that, unfortunately, is the reality, the rescueality of rescuing, especially dogs. And there's no way to talk about that and make it sound good or make it sound normal. And for the most part, I wouldn't say it's normal in the totality of rescue, but a lot of times it is. Not often, but it happens, especially if you're doing a big volume, and especially if you're doing certain breeds. Certain breeds are more capable of doing that kind of damage. And you can't sit down and talk about it like this, and be like, hey, this is what's going on. I'm exhausted. I have this. I have vet bills. I have no clue what to do, and that's unfortunately where a lot of people they end up. I don't even know the nice way to, and the online way to say it. They end up deleting themselves or canceling themselves out, which is just, it's heartbreaking that we're all here for this really good reason. We all want to help the animals. A lot of us put animals above everything. It's animals, rescues, rescue, and then in other important stuff, and then all the way at the bottom is us. And for years and years and years and years, I have always put myself all the way at the bottom. And it's tough. It's really tough. So I don't want to discourage people from rescuing. I just want them to know the reality. And I definitely want to have other rescues on and uh, and talk about their journey through the rescue world. I want to sit down once I'm at my ranch. I want to sit down, and I'll probably sit down with my mom, who's the other half of the rescue, and we'll talk about our journey through rescue over the last decade. That'll be a fun episode. But yeah, there's a breaking point for a lot of rescuers, and there is, I would say, I can almost guarantee this. I don't have any proof, but I can almost guarantee that every single rescuer, every single one will experience burnout at some point. It could be minor burnout. It could be, I never want to do this again. But I think every single rescuer will experience that. And I honestly think, in very, very simplistic terms, that's just a part of it. I've experienced it. But kind of going back to, we always put the animals first. We always will put the animals first. And that's how we do it. But there's so much more to talk about when it comes to all this, and I definitely want to sit down and talk to other people and other rescuers about this kind of aspect of the rescue world. So that episode will hopefully come soon. Don't know when, but as for this one, that's kind of just a rough recap of the emotional toll of rescuing. So I will definitely see you guys in the next one, and we have so many more good stories to come. So like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.